Hi guys, it's Roger here from Trixta. I'm sitting here with Lane, who's one of the core developers on Ethereum. And we thought we'd just ask them 3 quick questions around working in this space. So Lane, starting with Ethereum is a very decentralized community and there's lots of different stuff. How do you guys coordinate between the different teams what you need to do? And what are the challenges you've had with that?
Okay, this is a great question. The super short answer is we kind of don't coordinate super well.
Yeah.
It's kind of by design. This is something that I struggle a lot with, and I think a lot of people in blockchain and Ethereum struggle with, right? So I come from a very traditional kind of centralized corporate background, right? I worked in finance at a traditional kind of top-down, corporate structure company for many years. I went to business school and studied business, and needless to say, we didn't learn a whole lot about sort of decentralized business models, things like holacracy. So, I'll put it in a very concrete context because I think that would help me answer the question and help people understand kind of the challenge we're facing, right? So the most complex and important project in the Ethereum world right now is Ethereum 2, codename Serenity, right? So that's kind of our big effort to scale Ethereum and get to the next level and make it enterprise grade, basically something anything can be built on, right? So the way that most sort of organizations would do that is a very top-down sort of dictatorial fashion and say, here's the roadmap, here's your budget, etc. And we can do that, and most projects are doing that, right? If you look at a lot of the sort of quote-unquote competing blockchains, right? And so there was actually a report that was released, like an audit-style report. I think it was called the State of Ethereum 2.0 that came out about 2 weeks ago by a team, folks named Kilcon, that are based out in California. And they looked at the state of the Ethereum 2 roadmap, and they're like, holy crap, people are not communicating. And obviously some things are going quite well, but it could be so much more efficient, right? Focus on efficiency. And there was some pushback on that by a gentleman named Ben Edgington, who's on the consensus team. And he said it's true, but it's missing the point, right? Because it's a cop-out to say it could be done more efficiently if they were decentralized. That's obvious, right? But can we stay true to our decentralized ethos, but still have good things like accountability and efficiency? That's what we struggle with, and there's a clear tension there.
Yes, and well, if you're looking at the future of the organization, if you will, it's these decentralized organizations or bottom-up organizations are supposed to be more resilient, more innovative.
Anti-fragile.
Yeah, anti-fragile. But
exactly.
What would you say then are the 2 or 3 key takeaways that those organizations need to have in place to actually be effective at that?
Yeah, I would articulate it along the following lines. I think leadership is important and is not necessarily antithetical to decentralization, right? You can have multiple leaders,
yes.
right? But it's just so helpful to have a person or even a body, right? It doesn't have to be an individual person. It could be think of it like a technical steering committee, right? Which is something that I'm contemplating for Ethereum. Maybe it would add value, maybe not, I don't know, right? But to articulate a clear roadmap and say, as a community, we can be decentralized, but we stand by these things and we're moving in a direction together, and pick the piece of it that's most exciting for you to work on, or fork.
So it's more about,
and that has not happened clearly in Ethereum.
So it's more about leadership through shared purpose instead of management, which is sort of hierarchical reporting lines.
In business school, we call this leading from behind, which is how I put it, really, right? It's, our leaders, if you look at the people who are our de facto leaders, Vitalik is the most obvious one. We have people like Danny Ryan, who's helping a lot with Ethereum 2.0. That's what they are. They're people who roll up their sleeves and they're pushing from the back. They're not, if you think about they're not on a throne in front saying, you do this, you do that. It's let's all kind of do this together, right? So I think that the first thing is leadership. I think accountability is a big one, right? How do we put in place accountability structures to keep people to task, keep people on keep the roadmaps kind of on time, because deadlines tend to slip in any project, but especially in a decentralized project, because no one has the authority to come in and say, you deliver this by this date. I don't have an answer to that, but I think
it's about setting those expectations and then managing delivery against them.
And I think sort of governance in general, and specifically governance over things like funds, is a big challenge as well, because in a traditional organization, you have a board and you have a compensation committee.
And how do you measure the value of any of these units if they're all competing?
And just allocating those resources in an efficient way. How do you do that in a decentralized
I'm interested that you don't highlight communication as being key there. Is that just sort of you just assume that has to happen, and that's regardless of the type of structure you take?
Yeah, I think communication. I think it's absolutely relevant. Again, we have this de facto kind of so one of my favorite topics when it comes to decentralization, which is obviously a huge topic that I think a lot about. Are you familiar with the tyranny of structurelessness?
Yes.
Okay, so this is such an absolutely critical topic that we need to understand better, and we need to make sure people understand better. In a tiny nutshell, basically it says that there is no such thing as a lack of structure, and so anytime we try to pretend that there is, this de facto structure almost what's the word for it? this tyrannical structure emerges in an organic way.
Yes.
And so maybe we need to like recognize that and call it out and embrace it. And so just on the topic of communication, like we have de facto people who act as like connectors in the ecosystem. So maybe we need to like own that fact and like say, hey, you over there, you person, you know, you seem to be the person that everyone turns to when they have questions about this or about that. Like, are you comfortable with us calling that something and like
giving it
a
title
name,
or a
sure. Like personally, I don't know. This is some of the dialogue we're having, but for sure, like communication, yes, that's like step 0, and we could be doing that a lot better than we are.
Cool. All right. Well, that's it. So thank you very much, Lane. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great to chat to you.
Yeah, and look forward to rolling out a lot more of these. It's going to be quick interviews of interesting people we meet on this Techstars journey.